the Ministry of Health of Peru responds to the request of an Adventist worker not to work on Saturdays. Listen to the faith story of Sandra Pardo.
This is the story by Sandra Pardo Tenorio, psychologist and a Seventh-day Adventist. During her college years at a non-Adventist institution and working for a non-Seventh-day Adventist institution in the Peruvian state, her faith was tested, but God was always with her. As a token of gratitude to God, she participated in the volunteer project, a year in mission in Brazil in 2018, and in 2019 applied for a job in the Ministry of Health in Peru, where it was accepted. However, the hiring interview was on a Saturday.
I didn't realize it was during the Sabbath. On that Saturday night, I reviewed the call for applications, and they said that there were people who had already been interviewed on Saturday, and my name was on the list too. I never did the interview. When Monday came, they released a statement saying that interviews were resuming. I was in Trujillo, and I had to travel because the interviews were face-to-face and were held in Lima.
She started working on 2020, and because of the pandemic, she had to choose 3 days to attend the health center. So, her co-worker chose Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, and Sandra was left with Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
I started the job that way, and for almost 2 years we worked on the same schedule. However, around September 2022, my colleagues started asking for changes. And to be fair and thinking objectively, she was right. It was only fair that she could have the Saturday schedule changed to make sure she also had it free at some point.
Sandra felt the pressure and did not know how to handle the situation. She then spoke to her immediate boss, who responded.
And in simple words, what she said to me is, I don't care what religion you have. The most important thing is that no one fails to come on Saturday or any other day. Then, the person in charge was replaced. The new boss had very different ideas about freedom. The change began to be made, and when I spoke with him on Saturday, contextually, he told me, I need you to submit a justification via iDocument why you can't come on Saturdays.
Sandra then presented her document and was sure she would get a positive answer, since in Peru, there is a right to religious freedom.
But the answer was actually negative. It was a job I'd gotten almost 2 years prior. It was a stable job. I was in an almost indeterminate regime.
However, Sandra recalled the testimony of the Adventist teachers who were allowed to move from Saturday to Sunday, right that was later revoked. So she communicated via messenger with Edgardo Muguerza, Director of Religious Freedom in Peru, and he replied that he would do everything possible so the church could help her immediately.
The union drafted the entire document. The only thing I did was send my data and information, including the letter that had already been rejected at the health center. I filed the paperwork on a Tuesday using everything I had from the church.
During 1 month, the document passed through 18 offices. Sandra kept track of this process in the system, where she could see the status of it.
I was nervously opening the system and checking the requester, the destination, and the status of the information. Then my mom suddenly calls me and tells me, "You did it! You're in!"
The response letter detailed that the legal area accepted the conviction of freedom of religion because it is a secular state, and the center of the health system can provide the facilities for the employee to carry out her work without forcing her to act against her religious convictions.
The first time I presented the document waiting for a positive answer, it was negative. And the second time I asked God for help, saying, "There's absolutely nothing else can do, so your will be made."
Like Sandra, many Adventists are faithful to every test, and in answer to their prayer, in March 2023, Peruvian Congressman Juan Bartolomé Burgos Oliveros introduced a bill that establishes Saturday as a non-working day, compensable in favor of the public and private worker who professes a religion that provides for such a day as a day of rest or observance.
Many brothers and sisters had to quit their jobs because they were very faithful and wanted to keep their Sabbath.
In this way, the congressman seeks to safeguard Article Number 2 of the Political Constitution of Peru, which establishes that every person has the right to freedom of conscience and religion.